We're going to talk about distributing polynomials today, and that's not something new that we're going to learn, but we learned a lot of new names as polynomial, binomial, trinomial. So we're going to use those names while we're distributing polynomials. It says distributing a monomial. Monomial is 6x because it's just one term across a polynomial can also be demonstrated using area model. Use an area model to simplify the given expression in A and B. Example A has been set up for you. Okay. So over here, when we are trying to multiply or distribute a monomial inside this binomial, we can use area model. What does that mean? First of all, let's just do the old way. So we could just simply multiply this monomial, which is one piece, inside the parenthesis. We know if we have a term, a number, a variable outside of the parenthesis that it's multiplied or doesn't have any sign, that means it's multiplied inside the parentheses. So you have to distribute it to every single term inside the parentheses. So in that case, we would have 6x times negative 3 and 6x times negative 4. Oh, that's a 3x. So when we have 6x times negative 3x, 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, and then x times x, right? And in this case, we have 6 times negative 4, so it's negative 24, and then x is just 1. So we put just 1x, right? Then they have subtraction or addition in between, so we just have to add these two. But here, what do we have to do is, usually if we have x times x, we can put it as x to the power of 2. Because we know x to the power of 2 means 2x multiply each other. So that would be negative 18x to the 2 minus 24x. That's the final answer, and we can't simplify this anymore because this one has a power of 2 and this one has a power of 1. So they're not like terms, so we can't add or subtract them. So we're done here. So now let's see how we can use this method, the area method, to simplify or distribute these two. Over here, we can draw our rectangle and put our monomial on this side and these two terms on this side. So one here, and then multiply them together. And say 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. X times x is x to the 2. And then again, 6x times negative 4, which 6 times negative 4 is negative 24, and then we have only one x. So the answer is negative 18x to the 2 minus 24x. Let's do the same thing for the second one. I'm going to draw my rectangle. So I have monomial, so that means I only need one set on my width or this side. That's my negative 7. And then for my length part of this rectangle, I need to divide it to 3 terms because I have 3 terms, 1, 2, and 3. They're separated from with these negative or positive sign. So I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to put negative t squared, 8t, and negative 2. Then I can just multiply each. I can say negative 7 times negative t, negative and negative is positive, and then 7, and then t to the 2, or t squared. Then I'm coming and multiplying these two. Negative 7 times 8 is negative 56t. Negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14. So my answer would be 7t squared minus 56t plus 14. Or I could say I'm taking this monomial or term and multiply it to every single term inside of this parenthesis. Let's move on. It says each of the model above helps to visualize the distributive property, which states that A times parenthesis B plus C equals to A, B, because that's multiply this would be AB plus A times C, so it would be AC. Or A multiply B minus C, or B subtracted C. That means we distribute A to B and C, every single term inside of the parenthesis, and we would get A, B minus A times C, which is A, C. Explain the distributive property in your own words. So I can say the term outside the parentheses is multiplied by each term inside the parenthesis. Simplify each expression using the distributive property. Okay, so over here, I'm simply going to use my distributive method. If you want, you can use that method, but I'm just using this method. And I'm saying this multiply that, this multiply that. So I would get negative 5 times 15 is negative 75. B times B is B squared. Then I'm multiplying this to this. Negative and negative is positive. And it would be 5 times 9 is 45. And we have only one B. That would be my answer. Second one, we have this 4 multiplies to every single one of these terms inside of this parenthesis. Do we multiply that to 3h squared? No, because it's outside of the parenthesis and it's not multiplied to that. That's a separate monomial. Okay, let's do that. 4 times 12 is, it would be, I'm sorry, let's just write it down. 4 times 12 is 8 and 48. So 48h squared. 4 times 7h. 4 times 7 is 28h. 4 times -1 is -4. Then, that way we got rid of the parentheses, so now we can say the whole thing added to the term 3h squared. Now, we see that these two are like terms, so we have to add them. So that would be 51h squared plus 28h minus 4. There you go. And the expression down there it says simplify each expression in 5 and 7. We're going to do that in the class, and you have to do it with your friends. Thank you. Don't forget to glue this part to your notebook and date it. Today is January 26th, I believe. Thank you. Have a good day.